Hello, Claire. How are you? You're muted.
Okay, I think I've solved it. It doesn't
That's better.
like me when I try and take it off mute. It
Oh,
takes forever.
yeah. No, it's fun. It'll be good when we don't have to do this all the time.
Well, I kind of enjoy it. I don't have a social life at the moment.
Yeah, well, look, but once we can actually get out and about, then
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Yes, it will be. So,
Am I the only one on? So, oh no, there's more.
no, that's right. Well, Graham's jumped on because he always
Oh, awesome.
around. Yeah, but look, see, what I'm doing tonight is one that I did. I mean, I did it a little while back. So most of the regulars that jump on have already done this one.
Yep.
So look, it could be a personalised newbie session for you.
Hey, why not? It's all right. Because I actually remembered something I needed to ask you.
Well, and that's exactly why we do Wednesday nights, because it's a great opportunity to ask questions.
Well, that's it. But I've been having a bit of Wi-Fi trouble lately.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, I was told you can download recipes onto your Thermi and still use Cookie-Doo. So I went to download a recipe onto it and couldn't figure out how.
Okay, you don't actually have to download per se.
Okay.
What you do is when you're on Cookie-Doo, hang on, I'll just let Marie in. Yeah, when you're on Cookie-Doo and you save something, so if you bookmark it or add it to a collection or save an entire collection, at that point, it will appear on your TM6. So if you're not connected to Wi-Fi, but you are fired up your TM6, any recipes that you played with on Cookie-Doo while you had connection, they will be there until you tell them not to be there, okay?
Awesome. Okay, so it's already there. I don't have to worry.
Yeah, look, it's not like the TM5 where you actually had to hit a sync button and drag the recipes down, or at least copy everything across, which meant that that could take a fair amount of time. But it reflects whatever you're doing on Cookie-Doo is pretty much when you switch your TM6 on, it is active live with Cookie-Doo. So, but if you want to access your recipes when you're not connected to the internet, just make sure you've bookmarked them or saved them in a collection or saved the whole collection.
Okay.
So that means then when you're not on, and I'll just show you. I'll do the screen.
I've bookmarked tons and saved a whole heap of collections, but I thought it was a whole separate process to download.
Yeah, no. So what will happen is if you're actually not connected to the internet, at any time when you hit your little magnifying glass, it will search anything that, so if you're not connected to the internet, My Week won't come up because that is a live Cookie-Doo thing. And if you were to scroll across to Cookie-Doo, it would say you're not connected.
That's the problem I've been having. I was scrolling across.
Yeah, but if you go into My Recipes, anything you've bookmarked will be visible. And any collections you've created, visible, and any whole collections that you've saved.
Ah, nice. Okay, that's good to know. Because the internet's so dodgy at the moment.
Yeah, look, and so that's what I get into the habit of, if I'm playing on Cookie-Doo and stuff a lot, I'll just come past and just switch my TM6 on. And because I know the internet's working, so it just means then if it does fall out again, at least I've done whatever I need. So there we go. Awesome. Let me just come back to, I'm trying to work out which camera I'm on. My main laptop one. There we go, laptop. Yay. There we go. Hi, Heather. Hi, Marie.
There is a matter that requires your attention.
My phone's going off.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, how
What-
are we?
Good, how are you? What's
I'm
cooking tonight?
good.
What's cooking tonight?
Tonight we are doing, this is one we did a little while back, so you may have seen it at Claire's News. I know she hasn't. We're actually going to look at the rice cooker and how that works, and the high heat. I'm going to do some vegetables, but I'm just going to show you, I suppose, explain sort of how it works and how you can sort of, I suppose, push the boundaries a bit and incorporate it into your own cooking. Because once you actually understand how those sorts of modes work, it's a lot easier to adapt it to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go.
Cool, thank you. Wonderful. Great.
Good. Okay. I will jump to a different, oops, here we go. Katrina is in. There's another new TM6 owner. That's cool. All right. So what we're going to look at is rice cooker mode. And I'm just going to change to, oh, see, I have to do the whole, turn it over to this camera now. So I can't actually see you guys. Oh, here we go. Athene wants to come in. There we go. All right. So with the rice cooker, it actually works the same as what you would know a rice cooker to do. You know, where you put rice in, you put water in, and you tell it to go. And that is what rice cooker on a Thermomix does. And it's all to do. Oh, sorry. I have to make Graham a co-host, and then he can let people in. So I didn't realize I had forgotten to do that. There we go. It should be all good now. Okay, so it's all to do with understanding the type of rice that you're playing with or that you use, and the water that goes with it. And to work out what that is, probably the easiest thing to do is actually to jump into Cookie-Doo. So let me shut down a few things that you don't need to see, because I forgot to shut down a whole heap of stuff.
No, you're doing the rice.
And then we are doing rice, and we're going to do vegetables. So I'm going to get the rice on cooking. While the rice is on, I will then we'll talk about the high heat and how that actually works. So I've found some really good technical information about it, which will make you really understand how it all works. So I'm just going to jump on to, actually, I could probably do, I could share, I've got a PowerPoint thingy. I might just jump onto that. Sorry, I had a phone call just before I jumped, while I was setting everything up, from another consultant who was doing a delivery and things weren't going right. So I was trying to help her troubleshoot at the same time. So there we go. All right. Let's see. And I bring this up as, okay, can you see my screen? And it says TM6 new owners. So this was actually one that did a long time ago. Actually, it was back in May or April, the last time we did the rice cooker one. And so I just changed the date on it. Okay, so rice cooker, when you're using the rice cooker mode on your TM6, it is absorption method rice. And that is where you have the correct ratio of rice to water, and it boils the water, and then the rice absorbs the water until it's cooked. Okay, now just be aware, if you are doing rice using rice cooker mode, you cannot use the Varoma to steam things on top. It's not going to be generating the steam that you need for that. Okay, if you do want to be cooking veggies or chicken or whatever in your Varoma while you're doing rice, do a different recipe. Don't use rice cooker. Okay, so on Cookie Do, there is a collection called Rice and Grains, and it has all the ratios that you need for different things. But if you're like me, you probably only cook 1 or 2 of those on a regular basis. I mean, I never cook bulgur or spelt or millet or anything like that. I've got white rice. I don't even know what sort it is because I took it out of its bag, put it in a container in my pantry, and I have no idea what it is. So I'm sure a lot of people are like that as well. So all you really need to do is know the ratio for your rice that you like to cook, and then you're fine. So then you don't need to actually use it as a guided recipe all the time. You can just jump on, activate your rice cooker mode, put your stuff in, and off you go. If you're not sure or you can't remember, just work on a, one cup of rice to 2 cups of water. Yeah, that's going to be probably adequate to get you through. Because the way a rice cooker works is, and same with Thermix one, it works on the temperature in the bowl, because as the rice absorbs water, the temperature in the bowl alters. So it can tell how cooked the rice is. That's how it knows when to stop. Okay, so they're pretty clever, these rice cookers. But that's how all electric rice cookers work. So that's why, it just has one dial that you turn. As long as you get your rice and your water in right ratios, it will cook. Okay, so the ones I'm most likely to use are white basmati and brown basmati. Well, I thought it was white basmati, but now I have no idea if it's actually jasmine or long grain. So, but I'll still work on that. Yeah, but I do know I've got brown basmati as well. So if I'm doing white basmati rice, it's basically the weight of the rice plus 200 grams. So if I'm putting 200 grams of rice in, I would be putting 400 grams of water. If I put 400 grams of rice in, I'd be putting 600 grams of water. Okay, so 400 grams is about the limit for that, because remember, rice swells up by 3. So 400 grams of rice is going to turn into a kilo of rice. Okay, so 1.2 kilos. So it's going to be a full jug of rice. All right, brown basmati. This is the formula I told you. Well, it's basically double. Well, it's weight of rice by 2, which, yeah, if you're going by weight, that's how you work. If you're working by cups, just remember it's not as exact. I mean, look, it's still going to work, I'm sure, in a lot of places where they cook rice and they just guess at, when they're doing it, because they don't have fancy fangled rice cooker things. Doing the just double seems to work. But rice, you're looking at about a cup of rice weighs about 200 grams, whereas obviously a cup of water is 250 grams. So yeah, just be aware of that. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate rice cooker mode and get my rice on cooking. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, because I'm going to do it. I'm not going to, I could bring up the Cookie Do recipe, but you can all do that. I'm just going to show you that you can just use rice cooker mode by, first of all, using your scales. Actually, let me take my lid and my basket out. And I'm just going to tear that off. We'll get this on first, only because it's going to take a little while, so we can do plenty of talking while it's on. And I'm going to pop in 200 grams of my white, whatever type of rice it could possibly be. We're going to be close. Oh, look at that. That was exact. And What did I say for white basmati? It is the weight of the rice plus 200. So that means I want 400 of water. So once you've got this on cooking, I'll take you in and we'll have a look at the actual recipes if you want to do guided instead. But don't, oh, that's pretty close. Okay, now we also can add in, if you like, at this point, you can add in some salt, or I actually usually like to add in a spoonful of veggie stock paste. Goes really nicely in it. I couldn't bother going to the fridge to get it, so I'm just going to pop in a teaspoon of salt and a little bit of olive oil. It just sort of helps the, not sticking, but also a little bit of oil stops the, I'm going to do about a teaspoon. Will stop, you know, whenever you're cooking something starchy, whether it be rice, pasta, that sort of thing, and it all froths up and goes all bubbly. If you just pop a little bit of oil or a little knob of butter in, it will actually stop all that frothing and it will make it disappear. Now, what I'm actually putting here, you'll see in a second when we get off this mode. Okay, we've got rice cooker. Instead of putting the MC on, I'm going to pop my simmering basket on top. Okay, so it's going to let steam and stuff out, but we're not going to have any splattering of water or anything like that. And as with all modes, there is a little information button. And it doesn't actually tell you much other than to go and check Cookidoo for the recipes to get your ratios, okay? But as I said, once you know your ratios, you're fine. So I can actually now just start that and it will work out. It's actually, it says, you know, that amount of time, but it will work out how long it is based on the temperature of the water. Obviously, if you've got hot water, it doesn't need to bring it to the boil or anything like that. So we'll let that do its thing. Okay, so let me just jump back here and I'm going to jump onto Cookidoo. We'll just have a look at the recipes for the...
Louise, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Did you say you put the rice in the basket, or it's in the?
No, that's straight in the jug.
And so you put the basket on top. Why?
Yep, I'll just show you. Oh, sorry, I've got the other camera. Let me. There you go. See? Okay, so I just put the rice directly into the jug.
Yep.
And the water.
Now. Yep.
Yep, and then just a bit of salt, a little bit of oil, and this on top and go. Okay. So
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, so that's really super simple. Just get me my Cookidoo and I'll show you how to find the recipes. Obviously we can do it on the screen as well, but it's easier for me to show you on here. Okay, Cookidoo. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so here is my Cookidoo. Now, for finding all your ratios, I mean, this is what I do all the time. I type, as you can see here, rice and grain. And I do search, and it brings some recipes up. But if you actually click where it says recipes and change that to collections, it will just bring up that rice and grains collection. That's the one you want, and that's the one you want to hit the save button on. I've already done it, obviously, but okay, if I remove, if I hit save, that will now be on my TM6, so I'll be able to find it again easily. All right. So you've got in here the most common rices and grains that people are going to have. So you can, if you go, look, I only ever cook jasmine rice. So you go in here, you will see, okay, 200 jasmine rice needs 320 water. So look, you might want to, you know, stick it on a post-it note on your wall or wherever. And with all of these recipes, if you scroll down into tips and tricks, it will show you how to increase the portions. Okay, so if you know you're always going to be doing 4 to 6 portions, then you'd be going 300 and 450, 400, 640. Okay, so as you can see, it's, you know, they're different ratios depending on the rice. So if it is one that you use all the time, save it. You know, bookmark it, add it to a collection. Like you've all seen how I have a collection called, it's a created collection. So this is one that I've set up myself called Basics. And in there I have my brown basmati rice and my white basmati rice. Okay, so things that you want to be able to do all the time or incorporate into other recipes, save them somewhere that you can find again. Okay. So I don't know, can you hear the Thermomix going at all or not? Because Zoom quite often cuts out sort of noises in the background. So it is actually boiling at the moment, but what will happen is it will reach a point where it will actually just go quiet, and it will just be the rice absorbing the water. Okay. All right, so let's stop that one. Okay. So now, anyone have any questions about rice, using the rice cooker? No? Okay, I'll just show you. All right, rice and green radishes. I was going to do a whole thing. Anyway, okay, if you're wanting to cook rice and do things in the basket above, don't use your rice cooker. Use the boiled rice recipe. Okay, so there is actually a recipe on Cookie-Doo. You'll be able to search it using your magnifying glass on your TM6, and it's called boiled rice. And that is one where it actually steams the rice in the basket in the jug. And it is actually cooking it at 100 degrees for 20 minutes. So that is enough time for you to be cooking veggies or anything else above. Okay, so go back. An example of that is the paprika chicken recipe on Cookie-Doo, which is a full layered meal where you've got liquid underneath. So it's not just water, there's flavorings things in it. And that is being used to steam the rice. And then above that, you've got your varoma filled with vegetables and chicken, which has been sprinkled with paprika and all sorts of things. Okay, so it's worth having a look at. But yeah, just remember that you need to be doing boiled rice if you want to be using the varoma. If you just want to cook rice, the rice cooker is your way to go. Okay, so all right, any questions? Nope. Everyone all good for rice? What we can do is talk about high heat, because that's a fun one, because that is one that is called a, there we go. That is a locked function. So you can actually only access the high heat modes through recipes. Okay, you can't just throw things in and turn the dial. You actually need to bring up a guided recipe. So within high heat, you have the high heat that is used for meat and vegetables, that sort of thing. Then there's also the high heat, which is known as the sugar stages high heat. We're not going to look at sugar stages today. That's another day when we do, you know, honeycomb or something like that. but we will have a look at high heat. We're going to do some vegetables, and you'll see when you bring up a recipe for it. There we go, it's gone quiet now. When you bring up a recipe with the high heat, it will tell you exactly how much oil and ingredients that it wants. Okay, so again, in Cookie Do, there are a number of collections for high heat basics. So I encourage you to play with those just to understand them. So you've got one for onions, one for vegetables, one for meat and seafood. And so they all do different things. We'll just bring up the onions one, the sauteed onions, all the way through to caramelized onions, barbecue onions that actually has lots of flavorings and things in, almost like a relish, sauteed leeks, echallots, sauteed onions with garlic, ginger or chili. So, a mix that you'd be using at the start of a curry, that sort of thing. And let me move you all out of the way. There we go. Then in your vegetables, mushrooms, zucchini, eggplant, mirepoix, and capsicum. Your mirepoix is your mix of celery, onion, and carrot. That is a classic combination that is used at the start of casseroles and soups and things like that. A lot of recipes, outside of Thermomix, use that as a base for you doing things. So it's great now to actually have that in here. It actually is quite a lot of vegetables, so it doesn't actually brown them, but it uses the high heat to release almost the sweetness in the vegetables. So it softens them, makes them sweeter, and quite often you would do that. Have it quite chunky. You cook it using your high heat, and then chop it so that it isn't in big pieces anymore. Okay, now so they all go for different lengths of time. You can't see because when you bring up a recipe in Cookie Do, okay, for example, mushrooms, it just says start high temp. Okay, so if you actually want to know how long that is going to take, I mean, you could probably guess by going, okay, we've got 3 minutes there doing this, it's total 20, but I mean, you really don't know how much, how much fluffing around they've added into that time. So you really need to look at it on your TM6, bring the recipe up and it will show you the time if you bring that recipe up. Okay, now the way these things work is, now I'm going to show you something that not a lot of people have seen, but it's really, really cool. I'm just going to stop sharing that one. I'm going to show you something that I found on the Norwegian Thermomix site, of all places to be hanging out. Yeah, one goes and hangs out on Norwegian thing. But anyway, they actually have still go on there, I'll show you in time. They had a whole heap of information that came out at the time the TM6 was launched. So it's got all the technical stuff to explain what's actually going on when you use the high heat mode. So it tells you, first thing that it does is it works out if there's the right amount of stuff in the bowl. And because it works out the resistance for the blades against what's in there. Okay, so that's why quite often it will tell you to do things a certain size, because if you had them like really, really finely chopped onions, it wouldn't know that it had food in there, and it would think you'd just put oil in and would go and try and deep fry, and it would say, no, ain't gonna work. Okay, yeah, so you can see it actually, it heats it up to temperature, speed to reverse, stirs for 5 seconds, speed 1 reverse, then goes clockwise, then it just sits for 30 seconds without stirring, but still heating, and then it keeps cycling through. So it's a bit more technical than, you know, what we're used to with our 31 TM5s or TM31s, where, you know, throw in an onion, chop, throw in some oil, 3 minutes on Verona temperature or 120, which is just, you know, constant temperature, just cooking. So it's actually quite technical what the high heat is doing. Okay, but the interesting thing here is you can actually totally go over or under. So this is for your onions, and I think sort of mainly the veggie one falls into this as well. You can go over or under the quantities. It's not going to have a nervous breakdown. Just be aware that if you put, the more you put in, the less likely it is to actually brown. We all know what it's like when you overload a frying pan or something you're trying to brown something. You know, mushrooms, for example. You put too many in and all they do is they sweat the liquid out and you end up with stewed mushrooms rather than nice brown fried mushrooms, okay? So don't panic if you're putting extra in, it will let you do it, but you know, just be aware it may not give you the ultimate result that you want, okay? Yeah, so then the meat mode actually does something, yeah, a little bit different again. And so this is why it is controlled, because it's not a case of, you know, it's not that clever that you could throw an ingredient in there and it would go, oh, I'm really clever, I know you've just put capsicum in. Yeah, it's not that clever. So that's why it's got the guided recipes for it, okay? So it's the same with the meat and stuff. Yeah, if you want to do more meat for your browning, you can do it, but it just says it won't cause a failure, but probably won't brown properly either. So that's another reason why they control it is they want you to get optimum results out of it. So there's always going to be someone who tries to push the boundaries, and you know, and then they're the first people to jump on Facebook and go, oh, this machine, it doesn't work. It didn't brown my chicken. And say, well, what'd you do? Oh, I put a kilo of diced chicken in and it didn't brown. Yeah, right, okay. So this is why they've controlled it. They want you to get the best results out of the machine. Simple as that. But we're not going to go really into this now. The sugar stages, so it's the, you know, the high heat one. You do actually have to be exact. It's exactly the same as if you're doing sugar work on the stove. Precision is key with it. You know, if it says it wants 200 grams of sugar, it wants 200 grams of sugar. If it wants 40 grams of cold butter in one piece, it needs 40 grams of cold butter in one piece. So when you see people having fails with things like sugar work, it's where they've, you know, it said 40 grams of butter in one piece and they've put in a spoonful of margarine, you know, and wonder why it didn't work. Okay, but we're not going to do sugar stages today. But you know, it is a high heat function, and you do have to take note of what the recipes say for it. But this is just to show you that the rice is nearly done. With your high heat onions and veggies and your meat modes, you have a bit of leeway there. You can play around with it. If anyone wants the Norwegian website information, because it's got all the info about things like how slow cooker works and all that sort of stuff. So it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, just let me know and I will give that to you. Okay, so just while this rice finishes off, I'm going to show you what, now it's actually dead silent and it's just sitting there ticking away. I'll show you, here we go. All right, That is just doing that. It's actually making no noise. Blades are not turning. It is just finishing off the rice. So it's a nice little quiet one. Okay. All right. So I didn't actually want that camera.
Louise,
Wow, what? Sorry?
it's
Yes?
Heather. It's Heather.
It is Heather. It says Heather's iPad has jumped up on my screen.
Okay.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm in the dark. I'm in the dark tonight.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I wish if I could do that, I would.
Hang on, just so I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Now, I tried the high heat today.
Yeah.
Like when you explained it then about you can't just do it, because I looked on the thing, I couldn't find it on the little screen. I thought, where's the high heat mode? Because I just wanted to brown a little bit of bacon.
Okay.
So
Now,
I ended up just doing it with the Varoma and reverse. I think
yeah.
on reverse, but that's all I wanted to do. And I thought, I can't find the high heat mode. Where's it gone?
Yeah, no, it is. It's a locked function. So now, so with your bacon, one problem you have with bacon is, it's quite thin. So you run the risk of it sitting on the base, bits sitting on the base of the jug and the blade skimming over the top. So, it could just burn on during high heat. But if you've got diced bacon, for example, how you can buy that sort of chunky diced bacon.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's awesome for putting in risottos and things. Love that stuff. You could, and this is why, I showed you a recipe that I saved. Now, look, it is Greek, so see one here. Look at this. This is chorizo, high heating of chorizo. So I sort of figure you could use that same recipe for doing bacon chunks or anything else that's sort of high heat. And that's one reason people go, why have you saved a Greek chorizo recipe there? And things I don't need to understand, because I know it's 250 grams of chorizo.
Right.
So why not put 250 grams of chunky bacon or Chinese sausage, that sort of thing in, and hit go. You don't actually need to read what it says. Actually, I wonder what it does say. There we go. Put the sausage in the bucket and set it for high heat, and it's 250 grams. So if you have a look around in some of the other countries, you may find things like that. But I will show you in the high heat meat one. There is a bacon and chicken. High heat basics, meat and seafood. Chicken, brown chicken. Hang on, did I go past it? Oh, there we go. Bacon and chicken strips. So again, I think, see, it's the bacon cubes you're going for.
Yeah,
So,
I did look that one up. I did have a look at it, and I saw that, and I thought, well, I'll try it anyway. But anyway, it was okay. Did the job. Yeah,
look, I mean, because the thing is, if you're just wanting to brown a tiny little bit of bacon, it's got high enough fat level that you can actually brown it using Varoma or 120 degrees in the jug, because it will, you don't need to add any oil or anything. It should brown up. Otherwise, I tend to chop it up, paper towel, and in the microwave if I've only got a small bit that I want to do. But if you want to do, a big lot, because I've done that before. I've bought, the diced bacon from the deli at the supermarket. You can cook it up and keep it in the fridge, freeze it, and it's ready to go. But there's a perfect example that you can't just throw whatever in and have it work. There has to be sort of the right quantities and things for it. So now my rice is just about done. So, and then I will show you, I'm actually going to do my favorite sauteed vegetable recipe, the one I use for all sorts of things. It's actually sauteed zucchini, but I don't just use it for zucchini. I use that one for all sorts of things. Here we go. Okay, there we go. We have our rice finished. So I'm going to, there we go. All right, so that's going ding, ding, ding. Just stop that. I'll just grab my thermoserver. And let's just have a look. So we'll just take our basket away. And now, so I only did, a small thing. So that was, 200 grams. Okay. So that's just been sitting there bubbling away in there. So I'm now going to just put my spatula in and turn the blades just to loosen up the rice. Get the rice spoon out and tip all my rice into my thermoserver. And that should be absolutely perfectly cooked. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, so that's 200 grams rice cooked like that in a jug. There we go. So I'm going to pop that aside. All right. Now, I have a teenage boy. He loves rice, so he'll be eating that for days. I'm just going to change to, oh no, I'll keep this to the moment. I said I'm going to do the sauteed zucchini recipe, which wants olive oil, and it's going to ask me for zucchini chopped in chunks. So before I go to that screen to show you, I'm just going to show you what I've got here. I have zucchini, I have red peppers, and I have onion wedges. Okay, so I could put more in if I wanted to, but I do want it to get nice and brown, so I thought I'll stick with the actual quantity that it says. And let's bring my jug over. And I'm just going to show you my recipe. So we'll go home. I actually put it in my calendar for today. So if we go my week, I have no idea what else is in there, but I did. Oh, this is because I was going to do pies this week. Moved it to next week. Here we go. Sauteed zucchini, 300 grams. That's the one we want. All right, it's very simple. It is olive oil. It says zucchini, cut into quarters, then into pieces. So as you saw, I do little wedges that sort of look like that. Okay, yeah, sort of like 1 inch little pieces, some salt, some pepper. Now you can also, if you wanted to put some, Cajun spice mix in, or curry powder, or Moroccan seasoning, or whatever, you can put that in at the same time. Just make sure it's not one that's got, like a high, got sugar and things in it, because you're not going to want that to be frying up. But normal sort of spice mix things are fine to sprinkle in with it. Okay, so first thing it asks for is oil. So 20 grams of olive oil. Now, don't be tempted to go too berserk, try and deep fry or anything, because as we saw on those notes before, it's actually looking for how easy it is for the blades to move. And if you've got too much oil in there and the blades can actually turn too easily, it will come up with a fail for you. If a high heat recipe comes up with a fail, it basically says quantity differs too much from recipe and it won't let you proceed. Okay, I've never had it happen on a savory thing. I've actually never had them at all, but the sugar ones are the ones most likely going to happen. Okay, 300 grams zucchini. Now you said I have a mix here of zucchini, red peppers, and onions. So it should be about 300. Yeah, that's pretty close. Now, so what I do is when I'm choosing what to put in, I'm not going to put something that's going to be very different or let out a lot of water or something. I wouldn't add mushrooms into that mix unless I had, say, steamed them first to get some of the liquid out and then pop them in. Okay, so just because, if you end up with a lot of liquid in, nothing's going to brown. And all right, so it wants lid on. And now, has anyone not done high heat at all? Or has everyone done a high heat recipe? So I'm just going to show you that. Oh. Okay, it's now asking for the spatter guard. Okay, now this is only used for high heat recipes. It does not replace the simmering basket for a recipe that says put the simmering basket on top, like a risotto or anything. It's only for high heat. So even though it does fit on a TM5 and people go, yay, it's compatible with TM5, there's actually no need for this on a TM5. So if you know people who go, oh, I really need to get a spatter guard, they don't. They don't do high heat. So that's really all that is. It tells you to put it on. If you don't put it on, it's still going to go, okay? It is a safety thing. It's an honor system. That it says put the splash guard on and hit done. But as I said, yeah, if you left it off, it really, it doesn't know. So there's no way around that. Okay, so now we can actually see how long it's going to take to do the high heat. We've got the 3 squiggles, which indicates it's high heat. And we just give it a slight turn. And now, can you hear my Thermomix or not?
Only just.
Just? Yeah, I've got noise cancelling. Unless I change to away from my noise cancelling headphones.
You can't hear it now.
It's actually stopped.
I can't.
The blades aren't turning, so that's a good thing that you can't hear it. Because if you could hear it, it's actually going sizzle, sizzle now, okay? So this is that part where it says it's, like it will sit there with the heat on, but no blades turning. And this is how you get the browning. It's exactly the same as when you're on the stove. You give things a shuffle around, you let them sit for a while. Then you shuffle and sit. And that is what it is doing. And that's the difference with TM5 or if you're doing the 120 degrees for 3 minutes or whatever. And that's where the blade's just going around all the time. Whereas this is a controlled way to actually brown, and that's what it's designed to do. So it's pretty darn cool. And then I just suddenly thought of something I was going to go, oh yeah, I'll tell you that. And now I've forgotten, but hopefully I'll remember again. So there we go. Oh, one thing I was going to say, yeah, if you have a recipe, now we don't need to sit and look at that till the cows come home. Okay, if you have a recipe and I'm trying to think which, maybe like the creamy coconut chicken curry, TM6 version, where you put in garlic and ginger and chop it, and then it says, do not scrape down sides. Okay, those of us who've had a machine for a long time, it's automatic reaction for us as soon as we chop something is to scrape down. Okay, yep, Claire can totally relate to that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if it says do not scrape down, it does not want you to, because if you were to chop, say, garlic and ginger, then scrape it down and then do high heat, you're just going to end up with all this burnt black stuff, burnt black garlic. So they want you to leave it on the walls of the jug. Gravity will kick in, they will slowly go down and cook. But it is we all fall for that trick, because it's automatic to just go, yep, I'm going to chop my garlic and onion. Yeah. But yeah, it will say do not scrape down sides. So take notice of the scrape down sides or don't scrape down sides, because they actually do mean what they're saying. So this is really going berserk with its sizzling here, which is pretty cool. When this first came out and we first heard the sizzle, it was mind-blowing. So for those of you, so Claire had a 1031 and Katrina had a 5. So they would know what it's like. But yeah, being able to brown things is a whole new ball game. It just adds so much flavour to things. Some of the recipes that they had on there that we've just been making for years, like risottos, now have a new dimension to them, because you can actually toast the rice rather than just heat it. So it's pretty good. Now, what am I going to say? Any questions about anything?
Yeah, I actually don't have a kitchen essentially at the moment, and I'm working
Okay.
out of a toaster oven.
Yep.
So when I want to do a roast, I can't fit the meat and the veggies because I'm feeding too many people. So I was thinking of doing just my veggies in the oven and using the high heat to brown just diced up beef, and cheating and using that as my roast meat. Would
You
that
could do that.
work?
Do you have a barbecue?
No.
No. Oh,
I got
that makes
nothing.
one do. Yeah.
I got a Thermomix, that's it.
Yeah. No, well, you could, or look, you can always do things like, hey, don't do a roast, do corned beef.
Yeah, I see. I roast my corned beef.
Well, you'll just have to go to steamed corned beef instead. I think it's so much better. Look, if you like roast corned beef, you'll probably like the steamed corned beef as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't like boiled corned beef. I don't like.
You boil out all the salt. It's no good.
And it just goes stringy and falls apart. And whereas I like doing my silver side in the Varoma, and you can actually cut slices out of it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's very similar to roasting, because you end up with a similar texture. It's just a bit moist. It'll just be a bit moister than your roast silver side.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, it's still pretty good. Look, and then there's things like the old classic meatloaf, the rolled meatloaf.
No, I hate meatloaf.
Oh, but
mince meat except meatloaf.
But you can, if you add the flavors into it and roll the cheese and spinach in the middle.
Oh, I've got fresh silver beet at the moment.
Hey, it's beautiful. And prosciutto or bacon wrapped around the outside.
See, everyone else would eat it. I'd smell it, go, that smells so good, taste it, and go, no.
That's right, as long as everyone else is happy.
Oh, I'm sick of keeping them happy. Oh, dear.
Yeah, but yeah, look, you could brown. Look, the brown. I've done beef strips and cubes and things in there. So yeah, you could do that.
Should work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figure it can't hurt. I'll feed it to Russell first, and if he survives, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but look, hey, they don't get to eat roast. It's not the end of the world. There's plenty of other things they can enjoy.
Well, it's me that wants the roast, to be honest. He doesn't care. Half the time he comes home, has a packet of chips for dinner and goes to bed after I've cooked. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I need is his sledgehammer, actually. That might solve
Yeah.
a few problems.
Okay. And so who's tried yogurt since we did? I saw Afine's yogurt. That was,
Oh, it's beautiful.
isn't it good?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with it.
Yeah. And look, and it's, all these people who can't get yogurt to work and they have all these fancy things to do and all these other recipes. Like, no, if you start with a clean jug, a nice clean jug, and follow the recipe, it works. It just works.
Yeah.
You don't have to complicate things. Yeah. So who else? Claire, did you say you had done it?
I haven't yet. My yogurt jar's just arrived, but I'm thinking timing wise and getting it on and getting it out into the fridge and whatever. I think it's going to be easier on a weekend, so I'll do it on the weekend.
Look, you just do it before you go to bed.
Well, yeah,
And-
I figure I can sleep in and Russell can put it in the fridge.
Look, it doesn't matter because when I do it, it just sits there until I get up. It's not going to matter if it sits there a couple more hours.
What about till lunchtime?
What? You don't get up at lunchtime?
Weekends, I don't sleep. I'm an insomniac. So
I was thinking like on a weeknight because we sort of still end up. But you can go up to 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be an issue, especially if you're going to store it in the fridge in the containers that you've made it in.
Yep, that's the plan.
Look, it's not an issue at all. Okay. You can just let them sit there.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Look, the only reason I make sure I sort of got to mine, well, it wasn't straight away, within a couple of hours, is because I did mine in the thermoserver and I wanted to put it into a smaller container.
Yep.
So I wanted it to still have a bit, not be fully set.
Yep.
But if you're doing it in the yogurt jars, you'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to worry at all. So that's good. Saturday is steamed cheesecake.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I've not done a cheesecake yet and I don't like baked, so.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, one of the things with this cheesecake, which is very interesting, Claire, because the base actually gets baked in the oven.
I can live with that.
But you've got your toaster oven, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
So and it is just granita biscuits and butter put together, and then it's baked. And I think that's done just to sort of crisp it up a bit because then the whole thing's getting steamed, and you don't want
it's going to get moist.
Be totally soggy. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
Me too. I keep saying, since I got the first one, I'm like, I've got to do a cheesecake. And I still haven't done it.
We did a cream cheesecake at the Wednesday night session a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
That was delicious.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I do love a nice cheesecake.
Yeah, no, this one should be good. Yeah, especially given that it's primarily, it's cream cheese and melted white chocolate.
Oh, now see, that raises another problem in our house.
Why?
Because we're boycotting chocolate at the moment.
Why?
Because 90% of the world's chocolate is grown in Africa and they traffic children for the production of it. Lindt and everyone use it. So we're boycotting it. And it's actually been easier than I thought it would be to give it up. But unless I can source Australian chocolate,
Plant a chocolate tree.
Yeah,
plant a chocolate tree.
Yeah, it doesn't grow in Victoria. Queensland, we do grow some. It's just getting your hands on it that's an issue.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't had a look to see what the source of my chocolate is. So.
Yeah, I'm missing my Turkish Delight bars, I must say.
Oh, yeah, so I wouldn't be able to live without those. Now, this smells absolutely incredible. Oh, yes, it's got 16 seconds to go, so I'm just going to swing over this way to this one and go. Now I'm going to talk to this camera, which is really funny because you're all over here. But there we go. We've now gone ding, 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 and this is going sizzle, sizzle, really berserkly. Because onion actually has sort of a high sugar content. So because I've added the onion in, it actually really adds to the browning, which is really cool. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. Now I'm just going to, this is sizzling as we speak. So I'm just going to give it a stir. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to see the browning there, but maybe if I took it out with the rice. Sorry. Now, I don't know if you can see there. Where are we? Trying to see if you can see the, you can see the color of the onions.
Yeah.
There, they've actually, and the zucchini, they're actually really brown. I will take a picture of it because there's beautiful, beautiful caramelization on there. Oh, see that brown on it? That's amazing. So this is how now we can actually do a lot of Asian dishes that we've never been able to do in the past because we can get this high heat happening. So it's really cool because I was looking at this and thinking, yeah, if I could just imagine doing veggies like this, throw some sweet and sour sauce or something over the top. Yum.
Balsamic vinegar.
Yeah, well, see, I quite often, if I do onions, like whatever we have, barbecue or did burgers, whatever, I always do the fried onions. And then at the end, I pop a bit of balsamic vinegar and sometimes a bit of brown sugar in and just give it, a little bit of a cook through. And it's really good because the vinegar totally cleans the bottom of the jug.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So it's like whenever if you do it and you go, oh, look, there's some brown in the bottom, pop your balsamic in, give it a stir around, and it will just lift everything up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's absolutely perfect being able to do that. But I was thinking, I'm looking at this now. I'm thinking, I should have put something like pineapple in it.
Mm.
And then
Would that be too sugary?
And then it could be, but hey, it's worth trying. And then putting sweet and sour sauce over the top. Because have we all tried the sweet and sour sauce recipe on Cookie Do? A super easy one that we did it right at the beginning of the whole COVID thing when I did the dumplings workshop. I don't.
Didn't see.
Katrina, did you make it to the dumpling workshop, Katrina? I know you were around then.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You did, yes. And we made a sweet and sour sauce, which I am actually going to show you because it's worth knowing. Okay. It is so good. To find it, it's actually part of a spring roll recipe. And I think it's prawn. Spring rolls with sweet and sour sauce. That's the one. Okay, so everyone needs to go and search for this and bookmark it because I'm just going to show you. So you can ignore the spring rolls unless you really want to make them. But hey, how it logs you out. Log in. Come on. Back we come. There we go. Okay, sweet and sour sauce. Sugar, rice wine vinegar, soy sauce, tomato sauce, pineapple juice, and corn flour. So obviously, to get the pineapple juice, I'd have to open the can of pineapple, so I might as well put that in the veggies. And it's basically throw everything in and cook it for 5 minutes, Varoma speed 2. And it is just like, Chinese takeaway. It's awesome. So add that to your basics collection, everybody. It's so good. But I could just imagine these veggies, which I've done here, something like a sweet and sour sauce. That would be so good. With the rice, I will have to take a picture so you can actually see all the browning in it, because that's the important bit. All these messages on my phone. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to take picture. There we go. I will load that up onto the page. But yeah, so when you're doing things like soups and things, you can do, like your pumpkin using that zucchini one. Dice up your pumpkin and onion for your pumpkin soup and caramelize half of your pumpkin before you actually jump into the pumpkin soup recipe. It add a totally awesome flavor to it. Whenever I do a soup now, I always do a high heat component with some of the veggies, the onion, and some of the veggies. Do that as high heat, and then add in my stock and the rest of my veggies and all that sort of stuff. The bolognese that I do, it's a slow cooked one, and you actually do high heat. Heaps of veggies. It's got celeriac and carrot and onion. It is about 450 grams of it, all cooked at the start before you add all the other bits in as well. But yeah, so you can do it with all sorts of things. So if you think, if I was cooking, would I be browning something off or frying something off first? If the answer is yes, use the high heat. Go into those high heat guided collections and pick one and just substitute your stuff in. Okay, and it will work. It will. So you don't have to be scared of it. I know you always see people, oh, you have to be exact. Be sensible. But you saw, I mean, that wasn't 300 grams of zucchini I did there. That was onion and capsicum and zucchini, and I probably could have thrown some pineapple and all my veggies for a stir fry in there and put it in some snow peas or whatever. I could have done stir fry vegetables just using that mode. Just be careful again that you don't have anything too thin. Like, you're not going to chop your onion really, really small, because it can then just stick on the bottom and blade will go over the top. So usually when you're doing high heat, for onions, I'll have onion, I cut it in half, and then each one of my halves I'll cut into, say, 6 or 8 pieces. So they're sort of wedges, and they end up breaking up as it cooks, but at the start it can tell that it's got some resistance there.
Louise,
so
I missed, how do you put the soup on high heat? I don't understand how that works.
Now, what you would be doing is you would be using high heat at the start to saute your onions and sort of any veggies, other veggies that you wanted to have on high heat.
Yeah.
Because quite often at the start of a recipe, you saute onion, garlic, maybe some celery, that sort of thing. Do that first. Then you would be doing, you're adding your stock, your water, the other bit, maybe some other veggies and things, and doing the 20 minutes.
Oh, so then you can just follow a guided recipe after that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do that for minestrone. I make minestrone all the time, but I always jump into the high heat first, high heat some of the veggies off first, then I jump into my minestrone and sort of, but it does add an extra element of flavor into things like soups, especially things like pumpkin soup. The basic cookbook pumpkin soup can be a bit, you can tart it up with things, but if you diced up your pumpkin, 300 grams of your pumpkin, or did say 200 grams of pumpkin, 100 grams of onion at the start on that one I just did then, and then you add some more pumpkin and things in, but that would get so much flavor added into the soup, and then you're going to puree it all anyway, so add.
If you did that, Louise, would you have to put a bit of butter or oil or something?
Yeah, you would. What I'd do is I would follow that zucchini recipe that I've done, that I did like today, which has got 20 grams of oil. So just a tablespoon of oil, and then your 300 grams. You could probably get away, say 300 grams of diced pumpkin and, a bit of onion to add some flavour, caramelize that all off, and then add the water, the rest of your pumpkin, whatever, anything else you want, and then cook it as you normally would and then puree it. So, yeah. So it would need some oil for high heat, unless it's got a lot of oil in it to start with. Say if you had, say, diced bacon, as in, those bacon cubes, you could put those in with the veggie, because they would actually render out enough oil to be able to do some browning as well. So just sort of think, am I going to get any liquid out of this to help it fry? If the answer is no, then add some oil in. Okay. So I think it's one of the other sessions I did was the, making, soup out of whatever you've got in the crisper. I might have to do that another day as well. I did a video of that as well. But that was doing high heat at the start of the recipe and then jumping in and doing the rest of the soup. So
soups are made for cleaning out the fridge, aren't they?
They are. I call it the whatever soup, or the end of the week soup, or the crisper soup.
I've run out of everything else. What can I throw in soup?
Yeah, that is exactly what I do. And if I happen to have a bit of, if there's some bacon or something that could get thrown in.
Oh, yep.
Half, diced chicken breast, throw that in and cook it in there as well. Unless I'm going to puree it, then I don't throw that in. I'll do that later. But if you do a chunky chicken and veg soup, or just do veg, and as long as you got your veggie stock paste made, you're good.
All set.
Yeah. We do that. We quite often have soup for lunch because it's just easy to do. Yeah.
Takes 20 minutes to make any sort of soup you want, really.
Yeah. But look, if you're doing the high heat function, add on an extra, say 10 minutes to do that. Yeah. To do that whole browning bit, but it's worth it, I can tell you.
I'm just thinking ham steaks in a potato soup now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can cut them nice and chunky.
You can dice up ham steaks really well. You would be able to brown those off. Use that chorizo recipe. Though, those ham steak, they're actually lean compared to bacon. You may need to pop a little bit of oil in. Yeah, because they don't have like whole heap of white fat visible.
Yeah.
It's actually quite, but they would
add a lot of flavour.
Yeah. Okay. Now, any other questions?
Sorry, Emma's left a timer in here and walked away, so now I've got to stop it.
Oh.
Louise, me again, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
It's not related to that, but today I thought, right, I'm going to use my blade cover to boil some eggs. But I didn't know how to do it, so I ended up doing them in the basket with some little bits of potato to make potato salad. Deirdre said, do some rice if you're going to use the boil, boil the eggs, and then stick it in the freezer. And I thought, all right. And I thought, no, I'm going to make potato salad. So I did the potatoes and put the eggs on the potatoes.
Yep.
And cook them all together that way. But I wanted to use the blade cover. I didn't know how to do it with boiled eggs, and I looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find anything.
Okay, it's really easy. I'll show you now. I don't know if I've got a clean jug. I probably haven't because I dirtied both my jugs. But it's really, really simple. Oh, let's just jump out of there. Okay. I was going to say, look, I didn't finish that recipe. I think it was just going to tell you to salt and pepper and season your stuff. Okay, egg boiler. All right. Now, if you go to your little instructions thing.
I forgot about that mode.
Yes, so you don't need your blade cover. Use your egg boiler. This is perfect. Okay. Look, I mean, if you really want to use your blade cover for it, you can, but I wouldn't. Because all you do for your egg boiler mode is you can do up to 6 eggs. You just put them straight in your jug, arranged around the blades. Top it up with water to the 1 litre mark. And then you just set the dial. So they say, it says here, 2 to 6 eggs. So size large. So anywhere, 53 to 63 grams.
Out of the thermos.
Cold from the fridge, okay? So that all the timings have been worked on cold eggs. So you just pop your eggs in around the blades, pour water in up to the 1 litre mark. Let's get out of this video here. There we go. Yep, so yeah, up to the 1 litre mark. Then pop your lid on and your measuring cup and then choose the desired thing. I don't know if it's going to blow it up if I decide to choose the desired egg mode. But, okay, so you've got all the little thingies here and you just turn it to what you want it to be. Okay, so it does say in here, soft has a liquid yolk, partly soft egg white. Medium, liquid yolk, set egg white. Medium soft, then there's medium hard, and hard for hard boiled. Okay, so you just do that and you just turn the dial to whichever one you want. And then it will go. And you just let it do its thing. When they're done, grab your simmering basket, pour the eggs into that and run cold water over them just to stop the cooking process. And yeah, so don't worry about using your blade cover.
Thank you. I didn't even think about the egg mode. How silly.
Yeah, no, it's because, I mean, look, it's a new one. People, sort of forget. We went berserk with it when it first came out, just, because we had to test it out, obviously. But yeah, so it's really good. Your blade cover, I use that for doing things like cooking hot dogs. Really good for cooking hot dogs. Poached eggs are great with it. Cooking pasta is excellent. Doing, I cook my gnocchi in there now all the time. I never cook gnocchi on the stove anymore because it's there and it will stop things hitting the blade. So that works really well. But yeah, do your eggs with your boiling mode. Even now, instead of doing poached eggs, I do the soft eggs on the egg boiler mode. And I just, then take the shell off and they're like a poached egg on you. There's still, because you've got your runny yolk still and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit easier than poaching.
That'd be a challenge trying to take the shell off that, wouldn't it?
Well, look, no, do you know what I actually do? I get it in my hand and tap it up. Usually at the bottom end, there's usually an air pocket. So you tap that, get that shell away, break into the membrane. Then I get a spoon and slot it in and go around and can actually pull the egg out. But I mean, and then I end up, sort of squishing it onto the toast anyway, rather than having it nice and neat like a poached egg. So it's fine. It works. But I mean, you can do 6 at a time with that. So, whereas, if you're doing poached eggs, I would normally only do 3 or 4. So there we go.
Oh, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? No. Okay. Remember, next week is meat pie time.
Yay.
We are going to do. Okay. Saturday. That's our cheesecake. It's a mango and lime topping. And there we go. Meat pies. So I'm going to do short crust pastry, ice puff pastry, and a beef pie filling. I will actually make a batch of everything in advance, because doing something like pies, you do the pastry, you have to let the pastry sit for half an hour. Do a pie filling, it needs to cook, and then you need to let it cool before you put it all together, and then you have to bake. So we'd be here forever. So I'll actually have things pre-done, but I will make all the elements while you're watching, but then while the beef filling is cooking, I'll probably bring everything together and actually make the pies. So you'll learn pastry, and we've got a beef pie filling. I'll show you some other recipes that I love. I mean, I won't actually make them, but I'll show you where to find them. Chicken and leek pie filling is really good. There's another really good chicken and corn one that I love. So there's some really cool things there. I might even dig out the pie maker and some pie cases, and have a look at a few different ways of putting pies together. Okay, there we go. Now we've done that one, done that. That's all right. We can do all that. Okay, and then Halloween is the 31st of October, which is why we moved the barbecue thing from there. I mean, not everyone celebrates Halloween or gets into it. So we thought, well, let's do something else. So we have got a guest chef coming in who will give us lessons in cupcake decorating. So so we'll learn how to pipe cupcakes properly from a pastry chef who has a cake making business, makes wedding cakes and cupcakes and all that sort of stuff. So so we'll learn how to make buttercream icing, do the colorings, pipe, and do all that. So I'm looking forward to that, because I'm terrible at piping.
When did you say that was going to be on, Louise?
31st of October. So that will be on Halloween day. We're not sure of time yet. Just waiting for Sam to get back to me with what time she's available, because if we could do our normal Saturday, the 3:30 to 5 o'clock one, we'll go with that. But if she can't do that, we may come up with a different time during that day for it. So, but she's looking forward to it, so we are too. Yay! Cupcake decorating is always fun. So there we go. Okay. And then we'll have a barbecue one I think it's moved out into November now. So we keep running out of weeks. So but there we go. So I still have some more Wednesdays in there that I haven't planned. So if there's anything you want to see, I mean, if we want to do another soup one or something like that, we can slot that in. But I've got pies next week, but I don't know what we're doing the week after or the week after that. So if you have a request, tell me.
I had more of an idea than necessarily a request, but could we possibly submit some recipes that aren't Thermomix and run through how to convert them to Thermomix?
We could do that, yes.
Because, it's something I keep doing all the time, but I sort of think, trying to explain it to Emma, I'm like, I need to run a class on this.
Look, we can do that. That was actually Annette, who jumps on here sometimes, when she wanted to see Thermomix in action, said that she didn't want a demo. She wanted to, it was like a test for me. I rolled up with my machine and she said, here's my favorite soup recipe. Make it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So without any plan, it was on the spot. Had to do it. Anyway, she bought a machine, obviously, so I obviously did something right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's easier than you think when you start doing it too.
Yeah, and just thinking through logical steps and stuff like that. So look, if anyone's got a recipe they want to convert, send them through to me and I'll have a look and see if there's one, if there's one that I go, yep, this would actually be a good illustration, show people how we do it. And we can also run through on paper some other ones as well. So I think that's probably a good thing. Okay. Yes.
It gets people doing more too.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah. Because the thing is, it's like, you know, I freewheel a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would never follow or cook a traditional recipe anymore. Never.
Who can be bothered?
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah.
I either make it up as I go along or use my Thermomix.
Yeah. I actually said to a couple of people this last week, I think the TM6 is making me a lazy cook because I've got all these recipes I used for the 31, but I go, I'd rather do it guided. So I'm looking up recipes.
It's not a lazy cook. It's a smarter cook.
Well, there's that too, because I don't have to think. It just does it. My headspace is often out the window.
Yeah.
So it does the thinking for me.
Yes, well, that's what I always say. I don't have to put 100% of my brain power into cooking.
Exactly. Although you'll get a laugh out of this. It's great for Emma because she doesn't miss steps. But what she did the other night was something said to put tomato puree in it. She didn't know what that was. And so instead of asking, she put in passata. And of course, it was only a small amount, so there was no flavour. We had a bit of a chuckle over that one.
Yeah, look, that's even experienced cooks do that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, because if you don't, I suppose, understand the role that it plays in the recipe,
exactly,
yeah, can't figure it out. So, yeah, but look, hey, we can show her how to turn passata into tomato paste.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, because tomato paste is just cooked down tomatoes.
Oh, so it's reduced.
It's just reduced.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have both on hand, so
yeah. But yes, I mean, look, it takes probably about an hour to do it, but
it does slow cooking now, so it's all good.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's all sorts of things. But yeah, no, look, I think that's a good idea. We will do recipe conversions. So if anyone's got something they want to do,
Louise,
yes.
On the cookie dough, is there a nice carrot cake that I can try?
Well, I haven't made one.
I've seen some on there that they don't sort of grab me.
Let's have a look. Okay. Carrot cake. Carrot cake smoothie bowl. No, I don't think so. Caribbean carrot cake. Now, that is actually supposed to be quite nice, that one. I can tell you that now. I have heard that is good. Don't know about a vegan carrot cake. Okay. Let's get rid of Australia. Ooh, walnut and carrot cake. See, if I used to do the Women's Weekly one, and that was a walnut and carrot cake. Carrot cake area, but okay, let's stick to Australian. I mean, not Australian, English language. Let's see what. Look, there's 128 results. Okay, bliss balls, carrot cake cupcakes, carrot cake with cream cheese frosting.
Oh, yum!
Let's see what this one is. And carrot cake is butter. I see it's got walnuts, an American one. Brown sugar, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, I'm sure pineapple. Has it got carrot? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's the carrots up there. See, this one appeals to me because of it's got the spice in it and pineapple chunks, which, when it gets all mixed up, because it's 5 seconds to be 5, they would actually be blitzed through it. So you wouldn't have big fat chunks in there. And then a cream cheese frosting. So what sort of carrot cake do you like, Marie?
The recipe that I have is like you just throw everything in. It's even got coconut in it. It's got almonds in it, ground nuts. Similar without the pineapple, I think it is. It's got spices. It's got cinnamon, nutmeg, and yeah. Maybe I'll give you my recipe. And
I was going to say you can send through the recipe, and that could be something we could look at. Carrots, brown sugar, bicarb.
Similar. It hasn't got sour cream or anything. It's very basic. You just throw everything in the bowl, stir it up, and it's in the oven. But I was just wondering how I'd do it in the Thermo.
Probably exactly the same, because look at this.
Probably.
Carrots, eggs,
Okay.
sugar, everything in, 15 seconds, speed 5, scrape down sides, give it another 5 seconds, put it in your cake tin.
Put in the cake tin. Yeah, I might give this one a try. Be interesting with the pineapple. I haven't made one with pineapple before.
No, I mean, that's, I suppose it's, yeah, I
That
used
would
to make
probably keep it moist too, wouldn't it?
it would, and it would have that little
Mm.
sort of, little burst of sweetness in there as well.
Mm,
So that
yeah.
that was, say, this one here, if you wanted to give that a go. Let's see how technical. See, this one's a little bit more technical than the one I just opened, because this
Yeah.
one says, you chop your nuts, then you chop your carrots. Then, hang on, was this one had pineapple? Yeah, it has got pineapple. Yeah. Yeah, so you chop your nuts, chop your carrot, then you throw everything in together. Oh, yeah. Hang on. I placed nuts and, so the nuts actually, are they, no, hang on. Do they go in there? Let me get you people out of the way. So the nuts actually
the
don't go
pecan?
in. The nuts
Oh,
are
that's
on the
decorated.
outside.
So
Yes.
could you use almonds instead of pecans? You could, couldn't you?
Could, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Cool.
But
I might
so
try that
that's
one.
your nuts around the outside. So yeah, so this one is basically, doing your nuts, put those aside for your decoration. Grate your carrots first, then put everything else in, 10 seconds, speed 6. Bake, and then do your frosting. So
I think I might give that a whirl, hey? Mm.
Yeah, now look, this is from the American Cookie Dough.
Okay.
So what you'll want to do is, if you're not used to doing, other recipes from other countries, is do what I did, which was just search for carrot cake. Okay, and that just brings up Australia. You can either take Australia off or go into your filters and select United States. And we can get rid of Australia because we know it's an American one we want. There we go. And it's that first one there. So, yeah.
Well,
I reckon
thanks for that,
sounds,
Louise. I might give that a go. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that sounds quite tasty. Because I think, look, as long as a carrot cake has, sort of a nice mix of spices in it, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, cloves, cardamom, I reckon that would be quite tasty. And I think, now they say grapeseed or avocado oil. Who has grapeseed or avocado oil? I don't. Anything that doesn't have a strong flavour. Whenever I see a recipe that asks for an oil that I don't have, I just use, whatever I've got that isn't strong flavoured.
Yeah.
So,
okay, cool.
Yeah, it could be sunflower oil or very, very, very mild olive oil. But I tend to have sort of sunflower oil and olive oil.
Yeah,
in mine.
I've got sunflower oil.
Yeah, and that has pretty much no flavour, so that's good. Pineapple chunks. Now, buttermilk.
Yes.
Don't have buttermilk. Don't panic. I would just use ordinary milk.
Okay.
Because look, buttermilk works with the baking soda or your bicarb soda and baking powder, sort of to activate them because it's got a little bit of acid in it. You can get away with just normal milk. If you've got a bit of yogurt, you can pop that in, or just a little squirt of lemon juice in it will give it that acid that needs to activate those. Okay.
Cool.
But if you don't have regular milk will work. And remember that this is in ounces and stuff. So it will, on your Thermomix, it will be in ounces.
In ounces. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
cool.
So I think it's, what's 1 ounce? What's that, about 23 grams is 1 ounce or something like that? Just
I don't know.
whatever it is. Look, I don't care. As long as the scales are working in ounces, I'm happy. Yeah,
the scales do. I've done American recipe before in something else. And they came up in ounces as well. So it was good.
Yeah, and I think, look, I think people worry about it because they go, I don't know how much 12 ounces of carrots. I don't know if I've got enough. And it's like, well, if you're like every other house, you've probably got a whole big bag of carrots. You're going to have 12 ounces. So, so don't worry. So that's probably what, about 250 grams or something there. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'd be very interested to see how that one goes. So
yeah, thanks for that. I might give
Awesome.
that a try.
Cool. That sounds good. Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah,
thanks.
if anyone has a recipe that they want to convert, yeah, I can have a go at it, or we can all have a go at it on the night. We can all put our 2 cents worth in. I'll have the ingredients, and then we can all decide how we'll make it work. How about that? So it'll be a learning experience for us all. Okie doke. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for jumping on. I'll
Thanks,
put some pics up.
Louise.
No worries. Just show you how lovely and brown these veggies are.
Louise.
And all good. Have a nice night. Hopefully I'll see a
too.
few of you on Saturday.
Saturday. Thanks.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
See you.